three main differences between the Adidas Powerlift 4 and the Adidas Power Perfect 3. Difference number one, heel height. The heel height in the Powerlift 4 comes out to about 0.6 inches, while the heel height in the Power Perfect 3 sits at about 0.75 inches. The next difference is going to be price. The price for the Powerlift 4 starts at about $80, while the price for the Power Perfect 3 sits around $100 and $105. Now obviously you can find them for a little bit less depending on which retail outlet you go through, so there's going to be some variability there. And difference number three is their strap. The strap on the Power Perfect 3 sits a little bit higher and more close to the ankle, while the Powerlift 4 has a strap that sits a tad lower. Now, do these differences really matter, and should they affect your buying decision? Do the differences of these two heel heights really matter? So this is 0.6 inches and 0.75 inches. For the general population and the recreational lifter, it really doesn't matter that much. That is such a small difference, and in terms of overall performance, these shoes are both great. Stop stressing that tiny detail. Now, if you are a weightlifter and you want a slightly higher heel for sitting back under weight, and you do a lot of front squats and a lot of different squat variations, then you might want to lean towards the 0.75 inch heel, just because a lot of other weightlifting shoes have that as their standard heel height. So if you do transition from this model, it's going to be a better bet for you. And then in terms of the 0.6 inch heel, is there a population that these tend to be a little bit better for? Yes and no. I often recommend them for beginners who are transitioning to weightlifting shoes, who have been wearing either a tennis shoe or a flat outsole shoe. It makes the ease of transition a little bit easier, but in reality, the difference between 0.75 inches and 0.6 inches for the general population really doesn't matter. The second difference is price. The Powerlift 4 is around $80, while the Power Perfect 3 is around $100 to $105. Now again, oftentimes these shoes are on sale, and the price difference is really going to come out to about like maybe $15 to $30 depending on where you find these shoes. Now, does that really matter? Well, yes and no. It depends on your budget and how much you're willing to spend. My advice, if you're brand new to weightlifting shoes, both of these are great options and they're both pretty cost efficient. There's no need to really sink a ton of money into a shoe that you're not sure how much you're gonna probably wear or that you really want. In terms of an overall great starter shoe, I think these are both good bets. Now, obviously one is a little bit more cost efficient than the other, and you could base that price difference on your needs and what you're willing to spend. The third difference that we mentioned earlier in this video is the strap height. Now, as you can see, the Power Perfect 3 has a strap that sits slightly closer to the ankle, while the Powerlift 4 has a strap that's lower down. We can see that based on the eyelet. Now, in terms of overall performance and if that's really gonna matter, if you need extra ankle stability and you're more of a weightlifter, then that could matter, but again, that detail is so minimal and it's gonna only affect a finite population. So let's look at some other differences and similarities while we're down here of the construction of these two shoes. The first difference we'll call out is the outer construction. So we have a full canvas material here on the Powerlift 4, and then we have like a textile and synthetic leather and mesh material on the Power Perfect 3. They're both pretty well made. There's double stitching throughout. So in terms of overall durability of these two outer constructions, I think they're both going to be a good bet and go the distance, similar to their previous iterations. The other difference I want to call out while we're here looking at them from this angle is how these shoes are laced. There are 6 eyelets going up. Now the Power Perfect 3 has a derby construction, which is basically how this overlay pulls the shoe in and creates that midfoot tightness, while the Powerlift 4 has your more traditional, just kind of open-faced midfoot material here. Making our way to the midsole, both shoes have a high density EVA foam throughout. Now obviously the difference in the heel to toe drop is a little bit higher in the Power Perfect 3, and that's based on the effective heel height. If we turn the shoes over and look at their outsoles, the material, the design is exactly the same. So in terms of providing grip on platforms and rubber surfaces in your recreational gym or CrossFit box, both of these shoes are going to perform very similarly. So in respects to the differences and similarities between these shoes, they're both going to perform very similarly in the gym. In terms of their differences, they're going to affect a very, very finite population who have very, very specific needs and wants. So again, if you're a recreational general population lifter, I think both of these shoes are both going to be great and fit the bill. So if you have to take away one thing from this video, it's that the tiny, nuanced differences between the Powerlift 4 and the Power Perfect 3 don't really matter for a majority of the lifting population. These shoes are both durable, they're both cost efficient, and they're gonna perform great for a majority of athletes. Now, we have written individual reviews on each of these shoes, so if you're leaning towards one or the other, then I would highly recommend checking them out. We've linked them down below in the description, and we've also featured each of these shoes in our best lifting shoe roundup in different categories. Check that out by Googling BarBend and best lifting shoes.